Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Guess what? It's another Monday Meditations with Wine. And this is Easter Monday, and it's been a very rainy, stormy weekend. And I hope you all had a great Easter Sunday. And thank y'all for joining me for another episode of Monday Meditations with Wine. And just for those of you who haven't checked out the show, this is what we're doing. For most of us in the hospitality industry, uh, Saturday, Sunday is kind of like our Friday, Saturday, and then Monday becomes our Saturday. Either we're not working or it's just slower, so we get a time to breathe. So we like to relax and decompress with a drink or a glass of wine. So that's why we have Monday meditations with wine. And for those of you not in the hospitality industry and just have a case of the Mondays, it's still great to get off work in the evening and have a glass or a cocktail. So thank you for joining us for that purpose. Now, what we like to do here is highlight the best and the brightest in hospitality, culinary, and beverage industry, predominantly through the South. And today is going to be no different than any other day that we've done here. I've got a really, really esteemed guest today. And I think that most of Jackson Metro and all of Mississippi and most places in the South even need to know about what's going on here. We have this idea of tasting rooms. And I don't think that many people in the Jackson Metro area know about it, but we have our very own here. And we have a local guy who's doing amazing things. He's an artist true to this industry. His name is Zacchaeus Golden. I'm going to bring him on. But first, let me tell you what's going on at Bravo. At Bravo Italian Grill in Highland Village, we do have our Mezcal dinner coming up on the 25th. It is sold out, but those products will still be in the place. So if you love Mezcal, please stop by and have a drink with Tanya or I. We also will have a Northern Italian or Central Italian, North to Central Italy wine tasting coming up on the 1st of May. This is going to be more about the place than the producer. I'll be hosting, and I'm going to get as geeky as I usually do. If you've ever been to any one of my dinners, we're going to have maps and text sheets and some really delicious juice for you to taste through with charcuterie to pair. So check us out on bravobuzz.com. Make sure you drop us a line so you can get on the email list to get updated on all upcoming things at Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar in Highland Village. Without further ado, I'm going to get my man Zach in here, and let's see if we can talk a little bit about Southern food culture tasting room. Zach, what's going on, man?
Not much, sir. Not much.
Oh man, how you doing?
I'm all right.
So look, here's what's going on. I'm gonna let the people know. You're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. We got a lot going on. So we are actually doing this a little bit earlier, and it is storming outside right now.
Stay
So
dry, man.
hopefully the thunder and lightning keeps us in connection here. But let me see, man. How was your weekend? Did you have a busy one?
Yeah, the restaurant. We served some guests, man, and right now we're closed on Sunday, so using this time to unwind. Like you said, that Sunday and that Monday are very critical in the industry. So I like to take advantage of them and put them to good use for myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We got to reset. And so, look, thank you for taking the time out to talk to me and everyone else who's checking in here. Look, let's just talk about some of the base things because I think that there's some of the more amazing things that you're doing. I just mentioned to people watching or that are checking in about tasting rooms. Can you give us a brief description of what exactly is a tasting room and how is it different than another restaurant?
Okay, so I would say tasting room restaurants are more keen to guest experience. This is something you want to plan for in advance. You want to almost, especially one as unique and distinct as the one we're doing here in Jackson. It's almost like having a personal chef. You know
Yep.
what I mean? If you get your reservation booked ahead of time, there's dietary preferences or dietary restrictions that will be accommodated for. We do opposed to opposed to it being just dinner is more of a cultural experience. You know what I
Mm.
mean? There's we touch on uh different cultures. You know, you have a dish that's represented that's a good representation of Spain. You know, we'll do something with octopus, you know, grilled octopus, maybe some white beans or something like that. And then
Yeah.
you'll have something uh sorghum glazed pork belly and sea island red peas. You know what I mean? So we'll go from Spain right back to the south where we belong. You know, so that's the idea behind this for it to be something that's exciting. The way we do it is we don't really have a written menu. That's why we're keen on accommodating dietary restrictions and things like that. So as long as basically we want you to be very open minded and wide open to what's about to happen. And So I hope that pretty much sums it up. I think.
No, it does. It does 100% because, and see, I'm familiar, and I think that other people really should know more about what you're doing in this concept because you can actually have some of the best experiences when you just let the chef have his way, right? I
Right.
come to you and I say, Zach, I love food. I want to eat with you. I'm allergic to mushrooms. Don't kill me. Let's have
Right.
dinner. And you say,
Absolutely.
cool, let's go. Let's go, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that that's like one of the most cool things about what you do. It's incredibly different. It's incredibly new. And look, for any single fellas out there, it's a hell of a date night. I'm tell you right now, you're gonna win.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely
Absolutely.
gonna win.
100%. We're gonna make sure everything's taken care of.
100%. Zach, let me ask you this: where exactly are you from? I mentioned that you're local because you're here, but where are you from?
I'm originally from Belzona, Mississippi.
Okay, Belzona, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
All right, now for somebody who's not from Mississippi, tell me proximity. Where is Belzona to Jackson?
I would say if don't speed, but you'll get there in about an hour.
Are
You'll
we
get there in
talking
about an
north or are
hour.
we talking south?
We're talking north.
North. Okay. All right. Cool. Headed towards the Delta, an hour
Right,
north.
absolutely. In the Delta. It's like almost harder to Delta. Belzona.
Okay.
Catfish capital of the world. Catfish festival every April. Yeah. Got a
Yeah.
little bit of history behind the small town.
Man, I bet there's a bunch of it there. And I know everyone can probably hear the thunder and lightning around us. So we're going to try and keep it safe and hope it keeps us together here, right?
Right.
Let me ask this. You're a young guy. You have been doing this for a considerable amount of time. You're not new to this game, but you're really young in the scheme of things because you own Southern Soignier, your restaurant. How old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
Let me tell you something. That's inspirational right there. I want people to know just how young you were because it's inspirational, right? A lot of people think it's not my time yet, or I gotta
Mhm.
wait to do this. And you said, "No, forget about it. I'm just gonna do it at the time when it's
Absolutely.
right."
Absolutely.
Let
There's a
me
will,
ask
there's a
this.
way, man.
Have you run into any challenges with you being so young? Maybe dealing with vendors or other people in relationships with you being so young doing this.
Um, you know, I feel like not so much, man. Not
Yeah.
really from I think the biggest challenge with me being so young, honestly, is it's like everything else in life. When something new, you got to learn. You got to be able to learn and adapt. And so I don't really have I get a lot of support and from a lot of vendors and stuff like that. A lot of people that I deal with are most of what we do, man. Most of what we get is Mississippi based products, and people
Okay.
are as excited to sell you this stuff as you are to buy it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
my guy, Mr. Jimmy G, the guy who sells me shrimp, he lets me pick them. So the shrimp we serve at Southern
Nice.
Soignier hand picked by So and but so I don't have any trouble there. I think it's just like the business side of things, things that I haven't encountered before that I'm having to learn and adapt to. That's the biggest challenge of being young and being in the position I'm in.
But look, you're a sharp dude. I don't think you're going to have those problems for too long. That's going to be repetition. You're going to pick that up, and you're going to be off to the races with that.
I sure
Uh,
hope so, man.
let me ask you this. And I mentioned you've been doing this for a while, and we're going to talk about all the places that you've been and trained. But how long have you been cooking?
Professionally, probably going into like year 11 now. So a little bit over 10 years.
You've been cooking since you were
Straight
old
out of
enough
high
to buy
school.
cigarettes.
Yeah. Straight out of high school. Yeah.
Wow, wow, that's right out the gate, man. So considering that, let's talk about this. Last Monday meditations that we did, we talked to Hunter and we talked to him about education, people learning their way in this business, whether they're boots on the ground or whether they're coming in with degrees and certifications. Tell me this: did you attend formal education cooking?
Yes, sir. So when I was 17 when I left my senior year in high school to move to Mobile, Alabama. Uh, finishing as I was kind of finishing up that year, I ended up getting a job at Sonic's Drive-In, and so I
Okay.
was working at Sonic's, and I was always heavy into food. I had no real. I always was heavy in food, but I had no. I didn't know I was going to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I ended up, believe it or not, what kind of is serendipity, honestly. So I didn't have a car,
Okay.
there was a community college around, like literally walking distance from my grandmother's house, called Bishop State Community College. So
Okay.
I can get off the bus at her house and walk to college and be able to get back. And so I was going there, and it was I took welding and vocational in high school. So
Nice.
I knew that that wasn't for me though. That they had a couple of options. It was culinary, a 2-year associate's degree for culinary. They had welding and like barber and something like that. And I'm like,
Okay. All
I
right.
didn't. I know I wasn't welding that. It's too hot. It's not my thing, man. It's not for me. Kind of too rough. So I ended up going for cooking, and I was still working at the Sonic, so I was already cooking, and I
Uh-huh.
liked cooking. So went there, had some really good instructors.
Good.
Basically, just right off the bat, told me everything I needed to know, and I immediately started working in the commercial kitchen. So my second semester, I started working in a commercial restaurant, and I've been in major kitchens ever since. And but yeah, I got a 2-year associate's degree with those guys at Bishop State. Thank you, Bishop State. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, right. And,
So,
I actually learned a lot more. Like I said, from the wholesome, just they put me on the right track. You
yeah.
know, right.
Man, cheers to those instructors at Bishop State to put you on the right path there.
Yeah.
I know we've all heard the stories of, people putting you in different paths that don't necessarily serve the pupil as much as it may serve industry or the instructor or the institution. But I mean, you have made the best out of it. I mean, from Bishop State culinary degree.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah.
let's talk about this because now let's dig into this because I think people need to know this too. Why this is important. You went from Alabama, then where'd you go from there?
I left Alabama. I was all over at Mobile, but I left
Mhm.
there and I went to New Orleans
Okay. And in New Orleans, where'd you work down there?
for Alon Shire and Chef Zachary Engel at Shire on
That's
Magazine Street.
huge. That's
Yeah,
huge. Did you
yeah.
realize how big that was when you went down there to work with
Oh yeah, that's
them?
where I went. Yeah, I wouldn't.
No
I had
doubt.
to go. Yeah, that
No
was the
doubt.
biggest opportunity I had to that point.
And then from Shia, you went where?
Uh, so Shire, I was kind of in New Orleans for a little while, but I went back to Mobile to work for Dwayne Nutter at
Okay.
Southern National. Now he's
Okay.
going back to Atlanta, but I was there. I helped him. I was part of his opening team. I ain't helped him open it. I was like young cook, probably one of the better cooks in there. I think I felt like I was, anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I learned a lot from him. We talked a lot. He kind of influenced my next moves by just talking to me, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And when I left there, I ended up in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Before we get to San Francisco, you talked about Chef Dwayne Nutter talking to you about maybe the direction or the trajectory of your career path.
Mhm.
Um, that's very important. He's a mentor for you moving forward in your career.
Oh no, I have so my mentor, the person who really Chef Gillian Clark.
Okay.
She's an African American chef. She's like probably like late 50s right now. Food Network personality. Been on like Showdown with Bobby Flay. Wrote a
Yeah.
couple of books. Like this is a bad sister. Uh, that's my mentor. Like she's in New York right now. We still talk. She still, that's my real mentor. Kitchen on George. When I when I left the hotel, I worked at a couple of different places, but I ended up going to a restaurant called Kitchen on George, and they were a part of Virginia College's culinary program. Like
Okay.
it was a restaurant for Virginia College students to go get real world experience. And
Mm-hmm.
she hired me. I really wasn't even supposed to be there, And but yeah, I worked for her for like those probably to this day. That's probably one of my longest stays at a restaurant. I was like there like 3 years or something. And
Wow.
yeah, that's that's my real mentor, Chef Gillian Clark. Man. She taught me a lot. She taught me a lot. And then Chef Dwayne he understood that I wanted something else, And so he always it was like more than a mentor, he was kind of like a big brother, because he's African
Mhm.
American chef too. He been nominated for a James Beard Award and stuff. And So he like asked me what I want to do, and I want to work in the Michelin restaurant so fucking bad. Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, well, look, man, you did it because then you went to San Francisco
yeah,
and you got it done.
yeah, yeah. Right after that,
Those are big deals, man. Those are huge deals. How does it feel? I mean, the kind of humble beginnings, right? How many people from the Delta and Mississippi, you know, have aspirations of working in Michelin restaurants and then get there and then do it and then open up their own place? These are the kind of stories that I think are the most intriguing. How does it feel for you, man? It's got to be fulfilling up to this point, even to know you're not done doing what you're doing.
yeah, it's work in progress. That's it's work in progress right now, and maybe
We know
we'll
you got
get
a
there.
lot. We know you got a lot in front of you. So from Virginia, no, from Alabama to San Francisco, French Laundry,
Mm.
Thomas Keller.
That was second time to San Francisco. First time I went to work for Chef Murad Labney at restaurant Murad is actually
Yeah, the
named after
Moroccan
him.
place, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was there for like 6 months or something like that. And I went to San Francisco with $300 in a book bag, and yeah, I got 6 months out of it though, so I was happy about that. And I learned a lot. Uh, I knew I had to go back, so but I left. I kind of worked. I went and worked at another place there. I ended up getting that was my first real like sous chef job at a place in the dog patch called
Okay.
Pacino's. So I was
All right.
there for like 3 months, but I still couldn't get the funds together to stay. I had to leave. Yeah.
That's so you saw some real ups and downs. So back to New Orleans for a bit, and then where next from after that time in New Orleans?
From New Orleans, then I went home. That's when I went back to Mobile and
Hmm.
worked at a couple of upscale casual places there. Uh, that's when I was able to really rebuild the funds, and that's when I went to the French Laundry.
Hmm.
And
Can you talk to me a little bit? How did you land that stage there?
uh, I probably applied for the French Laundry over 200 times. Um, I I know I applied for the French Laundry for over 5 years.
Mm. Okay, so you were laying the groundwork for this
The whole
through all these
time.
other places,
Hmm.
and you just stuck with it and you commit to it, and that's what you were doing,
Yep,
homie. That's got to take a toll on a person. So for 5 years before you actually got there,
at
you were
least.
doing this for 5 years. Man, look, let me tell you something. And for anybody else who's checking this out, who's got their own ambitions, I'll just say this, especially for young Psalms. This is Monday Meditations with Wine, and I know that we have a strong wine community that checks in. And for Psalms, the path to get to where we want to get to is long. It is daunting and it takes time. And there's a lot that can happen that can discourage you. I'm listening to you say that for 5 years you applied for a place. I don't know many people that would continue to apply for a place after a few times. You know what I mean? Let
I mean,
alone,
some places you don't get into,
yeah, some you don't.
like upstate New York, Stone Barns.
Mhm.
You can apply for them for 10 years and they probably won't respond.
You know, and I mean the thing is your diligence, your tenacity, the fact that you just kept going. And I also say this, I think that this is a time when there's reward to audacity, right? Because how many times did they probably look at your application and say, who's this cat from Mississippi? Why would I pay attention to it?
Right.
Right? Where's his, who's referring this guy? Right? Where is he coming from? Why does he deserve to be here? But you are saying, like, you know what? I love to do this. I want to do this. I got heart and drive and passion for this. I'm gonna keep going. For
Absolutely.
anybody checking this, don't stop. Just keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't man, I'll tell you this. I learned this from JB Tran. It's one of my French Laundry brothers. Uh, it could be some long days in a place like that. And it was just
Yeah,
one day he told me, he said, if it were easy, everybody would do it.
that's right.
So
Thousand
that's
percent.
it. That's
Thousand
it.
percent. So let's talk a little bit about it, man. How fulfilling was it at French Laundry? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? Was what was going on? How did it happen? What happened there?
Oh man, it was amazing, man. One of the best experiences I've ever had in a restaurant. Period. Um, a lot to learn, a lot to see. It's super exciting. Uh, Everybody's serious. Best work environment you can possibly be in.
Yeah.
As a young chef, as a person who want to you want to kind of like learning from the line how to hunt. You know.
All right. Let me ask you this: why did you want to work at a Michelin star restaurant so bad? What did that mean to you? Why did you want to do that?
Oh, because honestly, so I've always felt like since the beginning of me like cooking that like Southern cuisine like has probably the best. I mean, like gumbo is one of the most delicious things you can get your hands on, hands down. You know, it's hard to beat that. And
Hmm.
but never had the presentation. Like right off the bat, I always took notice to like you eat with your eyes first. So I
Yes.
always I mean, I'm a huge fan of like chefs that do creative work. You make something that is very well known for looking like this and making it look like something else, or uh just that perfect finesse and execution, you know, to make something soigné or exceptional. Uh and that's the idea. That's I wanted to go and work for the people who were doing that, you know, to be able to manipulate Southern cuisine in that way, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was very important for you to bring that to the limelight because once you touch Michelin stars, you're touching a global community and global eyes and audience.
Yeah,
And you wanted to bring the Southern culture to that global audience. Am I right here?
absolutely.
Now let's talk about this. Your time at French Laundry, and then of course there were some other places that you went to. What are a couple of other notable places that you worked at after French Laundry?
So before some of the more notable places actually came before the laundry. So when I went and did my stage at the laundry, like after everything that happened, I, I staged for a few days. I didn't get the job. Like I did not get hired. Like I was basically they couldn't hire me right then because they're about to do a shutdown for Bacchus d'Or. You know, they travel to
Okay.
France. You know, Thomas Keller's the captain of America's team basically, and
Okay.
so they shut down for 2 weeks every year. And it just so happened I was doing my stage the week before the shutdown. So
Mm,
he was basically telling me I'll be, you know, without a job. He could hire me, but then I wouldn't have a job for 2 weeks.
mm, mm.
And that really in California, that's not really a thing, especially if you know are already starting
Right.
from a certain point. And but I ended up I had already had a stage at Restaurant Qua in
Okay.
San Francisco. So that had just went from 3 stars to back to 2 stars. You know, Daniel Kirkley left. He was actually uh the one
Yeah.
doing the Bacchus d'Or at the time. He was
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So he went from there, and they Eric Anderson took over, which is kind of a Southern chef. He started in Nashville. Well, he worked in Nashville for it. I don't think he started there, but Catbird Seat, he was there. But
Yeah.
right, and
Love
so
that place, by the way.
yeah, yeah. He's actually he's on Mind of a Chef with Sean Brock and some more stuff like that. But Eric Anderson's like pretty prominent. He's amazing. I learned a lot from him. And I will say, you know, not the nicest guy, but a great chef. You know, a very great chef. One of the most talented individuals. My style of cooking is my style of creativity. I'll say honestly, is kind of like based off what I learned from him because I had never worked. He creates things. Like he makes his own, or he the way he puts it together is so unique that you'll think that nobody's ever done it before. Like
Yeah.
that's his level of creativity. So, and I've worked with, I work in some really nice kitchens, around some really good chefs, and I'll say, like, for example, a place like the French Laundry doesn't give a lot of room for creativity because it's
Okay.
so set in stone, so long lasting, so wholesome. This is on people's bucket list, so they kind of gotta. You want to fit what they have in their mind, you
I got
know,
it.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
right, and then a place like Qua is completely free range, in the sense to where like whatever they come up with, and he's a type of chef that he ain't gonna come up with it in a week. It's gonna be 3-4 weeks.
Mm,
You'll see one piece at a time for like a week. Like sauce. You'll see him make a sauce 100 times
yeah.
for a week. Like so, I kind of adapted that. I liked it the way that happened. I like the results of that. Yeah, like obsessed about it a little bit in a sense. Like
Okay.
it's a
Yeah, yeah.
crazy type of like behind like you want it to be right.
I got
That's
you.
not everybody puts that into like, you know, you can see it on his face. Not
Hmm.
everybody cares that much, and that's
Yeah.
like, and that's towards the creativity aspect. You know what I mean? That's not
It's not even
even
execution.
right. Exactly. Exactly. Like nobody really cares, but he cared. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I got you. I see. And that goes that I mean, that's witnessing something like that and experiencing something like that at that level is the just as good as learning a technique because that's the structure that goes into you know caring about doing something the right way is just as important as knowing how to do it because if you don't care about doing it the right way it doesn't matter if you know how to do it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's like, if you're tired you still do it this way, like that type of thing, whatever would deter you from going about it that way, remember what
Yeah.
that type of thing. So uh
Um, so we're talking about a few things. Let me ask you this, and let me see if help me if I got this right. At French Laundry, it was probably really more structured, and then at Qua, it was a little bit more artistic and creative, and it probably helped you to like. It's kind of like I'm training at the French, and then I go to Qua, and now I'm actually playing. I'm actually doing the work.
No, so I starting to get this, and that's crazy too. That happened to me a lot. It happened to me so much actually. So I was at Qua before I went to so I started at the laundry,
Okay.
couldn't get hired. So what I did was I had already uh I was already set to go to Qua. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Okay.
Before I left to go back to California the second time, I set up like 4 stages.
Okay.
Which same thing I did the first time, but I committed to the first job the last time. But this time I was only going for the laundry really, so I
Mm.
put the other stages there just in case I didn't get that job, and then
Got
I
it.
would be ready. But so after they didn't hire me at the laundry for those 2 weeks, I went to Qua, and I was there for like ended up being there for like 4 months or some stuff like that. It was like it was like
Okay.
right because it was a while for the laundry call back. It was a while, like maybe 5 months or something like that. And so you still ain't get, you know what I mean? You still ain't get the job when
Wow.
they told you you're gonna get the job, you still ain't got the job.
Wow.
Like that.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right. And but when I was at Qua, I was a CDP, like a station chef. But
Mm-hmm.
when I went to the French Laundry, I was a commise, which is the back seat to a station chef.
Oh.
So I went in reverse. You see what I mean?
Oh,
Like I
yeah,
lost,
okay.
my position basically, and that happened a lot. Like a couple of times that like, but you
Wow.
move up, and so now you're a smaller guy, I guess. I don't know, but
Hmm.
happened at the end of Little Washington too. But so at the laundry, I was just more responsible for prep, and then but even with that, like it's the laundry, everything is structured there. So like the laundry is so structured to a sense to where like um they assign certain tasks to you every day to build their repetition. And once you built up enough, like once you can do like, you're killing projects in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but it's like very nice work,
Yeah.
then they'll move you to another set of tasks. They'll make sure you can do all this as before you can even leave the prep
Before.
section. Yeah, you know what I mean. So they basically turn you into a machine in a sense. Just before you even move on to the next thing, they build their employees. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, your training is uncanny. It's
and
absolutely uncanny.
squad
So
is like completely free. Like it's like more rock stars type of
oh yeah,
um I mean hell it wasn't a lot of limits to what they were trying. you know
you had all this training. It's world class training, training that people that spend time in culinary institutes and work in all these places, they don't get a chance to do the things that you've done and work with the chefs you worked with and the places you've been in. Let me ask you this. I'm sure you picked up some stuff along the way, and I know you're Southern. You love Southern cooking, and that's
hmm
your big style. What are some of your favorite ingredients to cook with?
oh, that's a good one, man. So honestly, I would say I love rice. I love rice right up there top of that list. Fresh, any like produce, like fresh, like beautiful produce, like good
Yeah,
quality produce, not your horse carrots and stuff like that. I'm talking about like that
yeah,
locally grown. The person who grew it cares about it just as much as you do, like that stuff.
yeah.
And So man, honestly, man, anything. I mean, when it comes to food, man, it ain't you know too many things. Like I like uh anything from ants and meals, like their grits, their
Yeah,
sea island red peas, any ingredients with a story.
yeah,
Those are things I really gravitate towards. Like if it came from somewhere, like my Bloney has a first name. Like we get a lot of proteins and stuff from Breezy Oaks Farms, right outside of Madison, and so I love everything they do. Um,
yeah. You know what? And I feel like that's unfair. And the reason I say that I even asked that question, the reason I say that is because it's like asking a psalm, what's your favorite wine?
right,
And we say the same thing. Like your answer is exactly what I would say about wine. People ask me that, what's your favorite wine? And then what I always say is something that has a sense of terroir. And for us, that would just mean something that has a tie to tradition, history, a sense of place, right? And that has some character to it. And that, there's some character from the person who grew the grapes, the person who made the wine, the person
right,
who imported it. What did it mean to them to go to these farms and say,
right.
hey,
And
I
find
like
it.
the way you are farming and I love what you're doing here. I want to import your wine into my market.
Absolutely.
Those are the wines that I love because there's more to it than just, fermented grape juice. And so I love the way that you just said that because what we're talking about, and this is why the marriage between food and wine goes together so well, because it's the artists that are behind what goes on the plate. It's the artists behind what goes into a glass, right? It's
Right,
those people that find a passion point and then present it to you to create an experience for you that's going to be second to none. Because here's the deal, Zach, I can come to you and get some awesome gumbo, right? I
hmm
can go to somebody else and get some awesome gumbo. But it's
absolutely.
what did you put into that bowl of gumbo? What did Zach put in that bowl of gumbo? What history went through it? What, from the way he chose the rice, from the way he chose and picked the shrimp, right?
Right,
What happened in that bowl of gumbo that you presented versus somebody else? It can taste good both places. But what did
absolutely,
you give me? And what did they give me? And what
absolutely.
really means the most. And that's what I really love about it. I love your philosophy behind cooking and your passion between it. I could tell that there's definitely some heart in your journey in getting to where you went to and achieving your goals and to still achieve them. Talking about what you're achieving, you were recently the exec chef at Colony Bistro.
Mhm.
From Colony Bistro, now at Southern Soigné, your own place, this tasting room that I've not been yet, and the timing just hasn't worked out for us. We have had the most fun dance of schedules, you and I, over the last month or so.
Absolutely.
But
We busy
I
people.
understand we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But I understand you got great artwork up on the wall. You've got great furniture in there. You got a fantastic operation. Um, about this place that you have now, What else can we expect from you? Because you've only opened how long? How long have you been open?
So we started late December, so that gives us what, about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, man, you got about a quarter and a half in.
Right.
You're just over a quarter in. All right, cool. So a few months and you got this going on. What's next? What do you have anything on the horizon, or is your main focus right now? Let's just roll Southern Soigné into victory right here. What's next for you?
Well, honestly, I'm only one man, so
Yeah,
man,
right
and
now you're only
I
one
wish,
man.
and it'll be as soon as I get some like-minded people around me, man, the ball will really start rolling. But to answer the question, I say, so I want to start the Soigné Foundation, which is something that is geared towards providing opportunities to young but experienced culinarians to kind of help fund travels and stages and things like that. To provide opportunities for people that that may not have otherwise had those opportunities, or to even
Yeah.
like maybe some to get people like just informed about the potential of like the hospitality industry, where because I feel like, especially where we're located right now here in Jackson, I feel like it gets kind of a bad reputation or overlooked as being like a permanent job, like as something that's can honestly like change your life, or or just even just have you more exposed to other cultures, just
Mhm.
and so kind of that type of thing. So I want to start the Soigné Foundation, which is something I'm kind of already working on, and I want to actually open and I just need to find the right partner, I guess. I want to do kind of like cocktail lounge, like
Okay.
a cocktail bar, but not for like it wouldn't be for everybody. More like a social club type of thing, like a super high end, nice place. Cigars,
Yeah.
dim lights,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
serious
Yeah.
mixologists.
Oh,
Uh,
that's the one. Oh, that's
absolutely.
oh, that's a huge one. All right, we're gonna put those ideas on hold. We're not gonna spill too much out here right here on this. We're not gonna spill it. We're not giving away no more free ideas, no more free gifts to anybody right now. That's that. So Zacchaeus Golden's got the golden ideas, and it's gonna be major things coming our way, and we're gonna be privileged in this state to be a beneficiary of those things hitting the ground running. All right. So look, let's talk about this just real quick because I ask everybody all these questions, and we're going to cater these a little bit differently. I know you're not a big wine guy. I'm a huge wine guy, so we're going to cater these a little bit different because
I
you're a
need to
big
get
food
with you,
guy.
man. You need to teach me, man.
Hey man, I'm coming. Let's do it.
Look,
Hey,
Scott started, Scott Jackson, my former boss at College
yeah,
Wine Market. He started out, he was teaching me. I was picking up on it. He made it easier for me to learn. So I'm sure we've already hit it off. I'm sure you could get it in my brain, man.
yeah, and I'll tell you this, man. One time for Scott Jackson, Scott's one of the vets in the wine community here in the Jackson metro area. He's one of the first few certified somms amongst a handful of folks, especially those that have come through Bravo. So hats off to you, Scott, because you
That's
brought our
right.
guy back home, and he's sticking
That's
around
right.
to create major things for us. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Give me a crazy story. Give me a fun story, an emotional story. It's a good story about something that you've experienced in your time as a culinarian, because we all have them in this business, and
Okay.
there's always a crazy story or something. So
I'll
give me.
give you one that I think you might enjoy.
All
So there's a thing at the laundry where you have to have a clean shave every day.
right. Yeah,
Every day I have to have clean shave,
yeah,
and as at this point, the pressure is getting the best of me. I may have missed the day,
okay,
and I come in. Now we get there 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, you really at 5:30. You need to be in the kitchen at 6. That's how it goes.
hmm,
And I mean, it's for the sun come up.
yeah,
So I get there, getting everything together. In Yountville, it's small, man. It's like a small. People think it's rural, and and we have small towns around here. Like their towns are real small, and
yeah,
But one of the chefs come in. Chef Elliot Bell comes in. He looks at me. Did you shave? And of course, there's no lie. You could tell, and you got stubble. So did you know? And it's like every day. When I say clean shave, I mean they expect it every day. No stubble. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, no, chef, I didn't shave. Uh, he literally had me right then to stop what I was doing and walk to. It was like a little corner store.
Yeah.
I had never experienced anything like this. Like he,
Yeah.
walk to the corner store, get you. He told me what they had. This ain't the first time he did this. He told me exactly what they had. Get it, come back and shave. And then I'm not the type of person to use like straight razor
Yeah.
on my face.
Straight razor. Right.
Worst experience, like one of the worst experiences ever. Do I shaved in the French Laundry bathroom, man. He made me come back and
Well,
shave.
that sucks.
Right, right.
That sucks.
Yeah, but not to miss a day after that though.
Not.
Right.
All right, all right, here we go. It's like we're playing poker with stores real quick. I got one that's similar to this. So my very first restaurant job was Houston's restaurant in Memphis, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19. I was 20. And they had the same thing, the clean shaven look, right? You had to be clean shaved every day, no question.
Right.
We had two lineups. You had one lineup just to check your uniform and if you shaved and all the whole deal. The second lineup was for current events and features of the day, and just to make sure you're up on product knowledge.
Okay.
The first knowledge, my very first time, I was done training. I was done running silverware, but I had learned at this point. He was like, you had to polish your shoes. So these are some of the real particular rules. Your belt had to be 1 1/4 inch thick, could not be bigger. It had to be on the third. Seriously, it had to go to the third loop. You had to be clean shaven, sideburns, half of the ear kind of thing. Right. Your pants had to have one break. It could have no more than one break in your pants. Creased, poly blend, and your shoes had to be polished. So here's the deal. I'm in lineup, and I got it all. I got it all together, but I did not polish my shoes. And I'm standing in lineup. So I'm doing this thing where I'm kind of like trying to stand in line. I'm trying to like inch my feet under the table. Like where I'm standing behind in the dining room, I'm trying to like inch into where the shadow of under the table. And the GM at the time, he's like, Chuck, step over here. He's like, those some good looking shoes you got there. And I'm like, oh. And we're in lineup. And he's like,
right.
Well, what kind of shoe polish did you use? And I'm like, I didn't use any shoe polish. The truth is, I noticed I didn't do it, and so I took some olive oil out of one of the salad olive oil and vinegar cruise and just hit my shoes real quick before lineup. But if anybody knows with leather, it seeps in quickly, so it was shiny like at that moment. But by the time lineup, it's dry. It looks worse than it did before. So I had to also go to the store and buy shoe polish and make kitchen runs for the kitchen guys. The seriousness in these restaurants to put you in place for service and for culinary situations, that training makes you a better person in the future. Right? It sucks going through that, right? But you learn and you're a better person for having gone 100%. Through it.
Man, I'm telling you, like, it's a lot of things that happen. I take the good and with the bad when it comes to like the culinary industry. You know what I mean? As a culinary professional, I feel like I said, keep that in mind. Like there's always something to be learned, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing. Like there's always something to be learned. And as long as you go in with that mindset, like just don't remember those hard times now. You don't want to have to repeat those now. Those are the ones you hold near and dear. So
that's right.
And those are the ones that's gonna honestly push your career to the next step. You know what I mean? Push you to the next level, gonna set you apart from the person working next to you. You know what I mean? You don't have to do anything other than, your best for the most part when it comes to like it's hospitality. You know what I mean? You want to treat people as you want to be treated, you know what I mean? And put your best foot forward, and it kind of works itself out.
You got to create that experience for people, man. And that's what we do. That's the fulfilling part. All right, let me ask you this. If you could, I'm not going to talk about Bowen, but if you could share a meal with any one person, dead or alive, who would that person be?
Anthony Bourdain.
Ooh.
Anthony Bourdain.
For obvious reasons, If you don't know, look it up.
Right.
Yes. 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 All right,
That's
let me
true.
ask you this. All right. I would ask you like what great variety or style of wine best describes you. So I'm going to ask you this. What style of cooking best describes you?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say, um, hmm, I don't know, man. I would say, because my style is kind of contemporary. It's like modern American. It's like I draw my experiences. My style from everybody.
Okay.
Everything like it's very eclectic. It's like
Yeah.
it's it's heavily fueled by Southern tradition naturally.
Hmm.
If I'm ever in a pinch, I'm going right back to what I'm most comfortable with, and
Yeah.
I can execute that at any level. You know what I mean? I kind of got that one in the bag. So I guess Southern man, soul food.
I would
The
say,
true definition of soul food, not fried chicken and collard greens. I mean, fresh seasonal vegetables. I mean,
yep,
heirloom grains and tomatoes
yep,
and things like that.
yep,
That stuff that counts. Same thing they got going in California. We got it here too. People
yep.
just are overlooking it.
Um, uh, to touch on that, you mentioned something earlier about rice, and I was like, I love the fact that you even said rice because that's one of the closest ties to history in
Right.
Southern in Black culture and cooking. Is that rice that was milled certainly with a Gullah Geechee culture in the
Absolutely.
Carolinas.
Absolutely.
You're on to something right there. I would put that as like New American, and I know that's really vast, but the thing about New American is you try to pull something to create this concept of this hybrid of something else, but then
Mm.
you always fall back on like some base American concepts,
You
right?
have to.
And
You
and,
have
and
to.
that's and then it kind of does this hybrid thing. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Um, let me see if you could have a meal at any restaurant in the world that you know of, or eat from any chef, you could die a happy person. What restaurant would that be?
Hmm. Oh man. Man, that's a loaded question simply because
Have you
now when
already
you
eaten
say
at that
that,
place?
no, here's the thing. No, when you say that, it's because like if you go to a restaurant, that's what we talked about earlier.
Hmm.
That's what makes me so much of the anomaly. 9 times out of 10, that chef is not going to be the one preparing
Mm,
that meal. So if you wanted the meal from so if I could get it at any restaurant or from any chef, that would honestly be. And it's crazy to think that, but that's honestly two different things. Like
it
if
is.
you're a fan of, for the most part, if you're a fan of a chef and you support this chef so much, if you go there every night, it may be one night out of 10 that he's even in the building, and for the most part, he ain't the one cooking your food. It's somebody like me.
Yeah.
So and but what chef would I have prepare a meal for me? Um, Man, I don't know. There's a lot of good chefs, man. A lot of good chefs. I would say honestly, who would prepare you the most? I would say Thomas Keller.
Okay. All right.
I would say
Right on.
Thomas Keller because, and the reason I say that is because um, his style of cooking is very homey, or
Hmm.
it's it's like the French version of soul food, if that
Mm,
makes sense.
hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
stick to your ribs type of food, but in the most elegant way. He also puts a level of thought and creativity into his meals that are like personalized. You know what I mean? Like for example, it's documented. It's on one of Anthony Bourdain's shows that when he went, he served them it was like a nicotine panna cotta or something, like a Marlboro cigarette panna cotta. You know,
Okay.
right? Because Tony's a heavy smoker. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
right, and like so you have to think about like that's knowing your guests if that makes sense.
Wow. That is. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's on one of them shows. It's on one No Reservation. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. I'll
Yeah,
be the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one.
We gotta look
Yeah,
that up. Oh, that's crazy. That
yeah,
is
man.
crazy.
But that level of like I said, I know the style of food is homey, wholesome, almost reminiscent of Southern food. Like got some soul to it,
Hmm.
and so it's like French soul is like different. and then that personal touch, that knowing who you're serving and knowing how to key on certain things that are heighten the experience for them. You know,
That's dope. A nicotine panna cotta. That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
or
crazy.
more per cigarette. Yep.
I'm looking for that episode now. All right, so check it out. You got $20. You got to eat. $20, the best meal. What are you gonna buy for $20? The best meal you get for $20.
Oh, now street tacos. They
Mm-hmm.
got to be real though. They got to be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
you got to
Like
have your
taco
al
trucks, street
pastor.
tacos,
What's that?
like taco trucks, street tacos, or
No,
like
not even. They don't have to be from a taco truck. They just have to be from like they have to be authentic Mexican, man. I'm talking about barbacoa,
yeah.
and done right though. Double corn tortilla,
Okay,
uh,
okay.
just cilantro and onion. Whatever protein.
Uh huh.
Extra line for me.
Uh huh.
So and they're always relatively cheap. Like even if you have to like instruct the person preparing them, sometimes you might need to get your cilantro and onion on the side just so they don't put too much. But uh, they're always under like they're always gonna be under $12 for sure. Like and it's a go to for me.
Let me ask you this: I worked with a bunch of Mexican guys when I worked in Memphis at a couple of places, and they would do that. They would make tacos and such. Is it just me? And tell me if I'm wrong. And these are guys in Memphis. When they put the cilantro on, they don't chop it up. It's like they just pull it off.
Right? They want
It
it
just goes
crisp.
on the taco. No, no, no. You get it.
Yeah,
You
no,
get, and I know it's official because you said just cilantro and onion, and the meat and the protein with the sauce that it's got with it, right? Just from cooking it.
right.
The butter, the oil, whatever. That's what's on. That's the
That's it.
sauce.
That's the
That's the
sauce.
sauce right there.
That's the sauce.
And it's like
Absolutely.
and the double corn tortillas. You said something very official there, and I think that like what you just said, you just hit on like these are things that you look at. Like if I'm looking at a wine label, keys for authenticity.
Right.
This is these are the marks of authenticity for a real true street taco. You got two corn tortillas, not the little puffy flour joint from
No,
Kroger, not that.
no, not at
And
all.
and then no salsa. I don't need no crema. I don't need none of that. I really don't even need no Valentino or
Oh
Cholula.
no,
I don't
not
need it.
mandatory at all.
I don't
Not
need it. It's
mandatory at
seasoned
all.
properly. I don't need nothing.
Absolutely.
And the
Right.
cilantro and lime and the onion. Yeah, I'm with you on the lime.
Right.
I'm taking a half of it, like a half a lime.
Oh yeah.
3
You need a lot.
tacos. Give me
Yeah.
like 3. Just give me the thing of lime. And that's my hot sauce. I'm gonna just go and I'm a lot.
Absolutely. 100%.
We in there.
You know
Oh,
it.
we in there. Oh, and I got the perfect wine for you too. Oh, buddy, I got the perfect wine.
Yeah.
We're gonna put some Albarino with that, and we're gonna get nuts. We're gonna get some Albarino because it's light, bright. It's
Yeah.
got some tropical flavors, but it's really refreshing and tart fruit. All right, bet.
Man,
All right,
gonna
we
have to
getting
get
real
together,
hungry.
man.
We're
Yeah.
making some
Well,
people hungry. We're making some people hungry. That's really what's happening. Let me ask you this: if you were not cooking today, what would you be doing?
cooking.
I love it. I love it.
Man, there ain't nothing else for me to do, honestly. Uh, I mean,
Yeah.
I really I enjoy cooking, man. I really I really enjoy cooking. Like it sometimes it bothers me how much, like don't you want to think about something else? You
Uh-huh.
know, don't you get tired of coming up with ideas? You know,
Yeah.
yeah, like go do something, go be normal, like that
Mhm.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Don't
This is
never
it.
really can stop the thoughts. Yeah.
That I love your outlook on this. Man, this has been one of the most fun conversations. Zach, this is fantastic. I think that your heart, your passion, your drive, your tenacity, all these things about you have come out in this conversation. And I think people have gotten to know you more. And the only way that they can know you any better is if they come sit down and have a meal with you at Southern Soigné. And I urge anyone that's checked in here on Monday Meditations with Juan to go see Zach at Southern Soigné. Google it, get your reservation online because it's reservation only. Mom's is going to take great care of you. She's going to put you in place, and you're going to get a great meal and let Zach go crazy on you for what, 6, 7, 12 courses?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That's
As long as
good.
as much time as you got, more food you'll get. It can be a little bit of a lengthy experience, but it's all intended to satisfy. So just communicate with me. Remember, it's like having a personal chef. We can We can arrange anything.
That's what it is. And look, y'all, if it's date night, it's not dinner and a movie. Dinner is the movie. So y'all go be a part of it. Go be part of it. That's it right there. Hey, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate you, man.
No problem. Thank you for having us, man.
Hey, man, enjoy the rest of your day, brother. We're going to talk more, all right?
All right.